Right now, the countdown has begun for America's most controversial prosecutor. November 13th, 2025, Virginia Court. Exactly 10 a.m., Lindsey Halligan's entire career hinges on just one question. Was she truly a United States attorney? Or was she just a private citizen when she filed cases against James Comey and Letitia James? The answer to this question will determine the fate of two separate high-profile cases. And right now in Alexandria Courthouse, one of history's most critical hearings is taking place. 3 months ago, during the first days of Donald Trump's second term, nobody knew Lindsey Halligan's name. She was just Trump's insurance lawyer, a White House aide handling small-scale matters. But on September 22, 2025, everything changed. That day, Eric Siebert resigned. Why? Because Trump wanted him to prosecute James Comey and Letitia James, and he refused. And within 24 hours, Lindsey Halligan became the interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. But here's the problem. According to federal law, an interim U.S. Attorney can only serve for 120 days. And when Halligan was appointed, that time had already expired. Asterisk. September 25, 2025. Virginia Courthouse. Grand Jury Room. Lindsey Halligan walks in alone. No experienced prosecutors beside her. No career legal experts with her. Just her. Asterisk. And that day she presents the James Comey case to the grand jury. Alone. She signs the indictment alone. 3 days later, she does the same thing for Letitia James. But here's the issue. If Halligan wasn't legally the U.S. attorney at that time, then those indictments ... double quotes asterisk are invalid. Comey's attorney Ephraim McDowell said this in court today. When Ms. Halligan walked into that grand jury, she was a private person. When the only person presenting to the grand jury lacks government authority, it's a fundamental error. Asterisk. October 31, 2025. Attorney General Pam Bondi acts in panic mode. After recognizing the legal issue with Halligan's appointment, she tries to retroactively make her a special attorney. Asterisk. Bondi's order reads, as of September 22, 2025, I appoint Ms. Halligan as special attorney. This gives her authority to conduct the prosecutions of Comey and James. But defense attorneys call this Monday morning quarterbacking. They're trying to fix a constitutional error after the fact. Says Letitia James attorney Abby Lowell. Lowell added in court today, Ms. Halligan had no authority to litigate these cases on behalf of the United States, because these indictments would not have been sought or obtained absent Ms. Halligan's unlawful appointment. The indictment's flaws cannot be brushed aside as harmless error. Today, 10 a.m., Alexandria Federal Courthouse. Judge Cameron McGowan Curry, an experienced judge specially brought from South Carolina to oversee this case. Asterisk. The atmosphere in the courtroom is electrified. Lindsey Halligan is also present at the hearing. She's experiencing the most critical moment of her career. Comey's attorney McDowell begins his argument. Your Honor, Ms. Halligan's appointment completely undercuts the prosecution of my client. The indictment suffers from a fundamental defect, McDowell continues. If Halligan can be appointed as the head prosecutor of the Eastern District of Virginia despite the 120-day limit on individuals serving in the job on an interim basis, then that guardrail is useless. Letitia James attorney Abby Lowell speaks even more harshly. Ms. Halligan was pretending. At the point in which Ms. Halligan walked into the grand jury, she was a private person. Asterisk. But the real story begins with Trump's first term, when he fired James Comey from his FBI directorship in 2017. Comey became one of Trump's biggest enemies. Asterisk. 2017 archive footage. Comey's firing asterisk. Comey's charge is this. False statement allegation from his 2020 Senate answer to Ted Cruz's question. Cruz asked Comey if he authorized leaks to the media about the Clinton Foundation investigation. And Comey said, I stand by my testimony, but prosecutors claim Comey actually did leak information and lied to Congress. Letitia James' situation is more complex. In 2020, she took a $109,600 mortgage loan in Virginia, claiming she would personally live in the house but never actually did. This leads to bank fraud charges. But both cases have a common thread. Halligan's questionable appointment. Asterisk. According to federal law, the matter is crystal clear. Under 28 U.S.C., U.S. attorneys can serve temporarily for a maximum of 120 days. When this period expires, they either need Senate confirmation or the judges of that district select someone new. Asterisk, Eric Siebert's 120 days had already expired when Halligan was appointed. And the defense attorney's argument is, you don't reset the clock. Appointing someone new doesn't restart the timeline. If the judge accepts this argument, then Halligan's appointment is invalid. And if her appointment is invalid, then the indictments she signed go in the trash. The Department of Justice argues differently. Trump and Bondi have the authority to appoint a new interim U.S. attorney after the 120-day period expires. Asterisk, this morning, a small protest group gathered outside the Alexandria courthouse. Their signs are attention-grabbing. No president has the power to order someone to be arrested, and vindictive prosecution is not justice. It's a crime. Asterisk. One protester came in a pink frog costume with FIFA written on it. His sign reads, "Disqualify Retribution Barbie." But social media tells a different story. Trump supporters defend Halligan, while opponents cry political revenge. The outcome of this case won't just affect Comey and James, it will also shake confidence in America's prosecutorial institutions. Asterisk, Georgetown. University Law School's professor David Martinez weighs in. This case tests one of the most fundamental mechanisms of America's constitutional system, the Appointments Clause. Asterisk, Martinez continues. If the Department of Justice can circumvent the 120-day limit by making consecutive interim appointments, then that limit becomes meaningless. Harvard Law School's professor Lisa Chang has a different view. Bondi's retroactive special attorney appointment might solve this problem. Special attorneys have different authority limits. But Yale University's professor Robert Kim touches on a very critical point. If this appointment is deemed invalid, it creates a very serious precedent for cases filed against political opponents in America. Asterisk, such legal crises have occurred before in American history. During the 1973 Watergate crisis, Nixon's firing of Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox created a major constitutional crisis. Asterisk, in 2005. A similar appointment issue occurred in the Illinois district, where the court found the interim prosecutor's authority limited. But this time the situation is more complex, because the issue isn't just legal, it's entirely political. Just as special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation turned politics upside down during Trump's first term, the Halligan crisis could have the same effect now. James Comey's defense strategy is multi-layered. He's claiming not only that Halligan lacks authority, but also that the case is political revenge. Asterisk, Comey's attorneys cite Trump's personal vendetta against their client for years. All of Trump's statements from the 2017 firing moment to today are presented as evidence. Letitia James is mounting a more technical defense. She's trying to prove no bank harm occurred by challenging the foundations of the mortgage fraud accusation. But for both sides, the strongest defense remains the legal flaws in Halligan's appointment. James' attorney Lowell emphasizes, these indictments would never have been sought absent Ms. Halligan's unlawful appointment. The flaws cannot be dismissed as harmless error. Asterisk, the Trump administration characterizes these attacks as a paperwork error. Department of Justice legal counsel presents this argument to the court. Asterisk, even if Ms. Halligan's appointment is invalid, the motions to dismiss should be denied, because she now has legal special attorney authority, but this argument is also problematic, because Bondi's retroactive appointment may violate constitutional rules. According to information from Trump's inner circle, the president's position on this matter is clear. Halligan stays. Cases continue, but White House legal advisors are reportedly concerned. Because if this case is lost, Trump's cases against other political opponents could also be affected. Asterisk, Senior Judge Cameron McGowan Curry is an experienced jurist appointed during the Clinton era. She has served on federal court since 1994. Judge Curry's biographical information. Curry's role in this case is critical, because all judges in the Eastern District of Virginia cannot hear this case due to conflicts of interest. Curry's pre-hearing decisions are also noteworthy. She requested complete grand jury transcripts, signaling she will examine Halligan's role in great detail. According to legal experts' predictions, Curry won't make an immediate decision. But time is limited because both cases are scheduled for trial in January 2025. Asterisk, the consequences of this decision aren't limited to just 2 cases. It will also affect confidence in America's political judicial system. Asterisk, if Halligan's appointment is deemed invalid. First scenario, Comey and James cases are completely dropped. Second scenario, a new prosecutor is appointed but the cases are already damaged. Third scenario, the Department of Justice appeals and it goes all the way to the Supreme Court. If Halligan's appointment is deemed valid, the Trump administration could be emboldened to file similar cases against other political opponents. But even then, political justice debates will continue. This case is being closely followed not only domestically but also by international legal circles. Asterisk European Union legal experts are evaluating the effects of political prosecution in America on democracy. London School of Economics. Professor Catherine Wells. This case has become a critical example testing America's rule of law principles countries like China and Russia are using. This case is a propaganda tool against America's criticism of political prosecution. Asterisk, today's hearing began at 10 a.m. and continued until 3 p.m. Judge Curry is expected to take several weeks to make her decision. Asterisk, but whatever decision is made, this case will remain a turning point in America's political history. This decision, which is vital for Lindsey Halligan's career, will also determine Trump's second-term strategy. For James Comey and Letitia James, it means the search for justice continues. And for the American people, this case has become a living example of how politics can influence justice. Asterisk, this case, which began November 13, 2025, in a Virginia courthouse, will reach its decision in the coming weeks. But whatever the outcome, it will leave deep marks on America's political legal system. Asterisk, what do you think about this case? Was Lindsey Halligan's appointment legal, or was it political revenge? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss developments in such critical cases. Click the bell icon to turn on notifications. We'll continue sharing the most critical moments of political tension in America with you. See you in the next video.